Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Jonty.
My name's Andy.
And that's it, just the three of us. We've got reduced roster or squad. We're not American, are we, this evening? We'll go over that in a minute, but it's quite fitting. There should only be three of us because it's a Triforce at a time when we'll be discussing the power three up front. I think that's going to be a big subject to go through this evening. Jonty, apologies from Granville. I think he's got a good excuse. It's not. Let's just put it out there. It's not because he only got 52 points.
It's not that. No, I actually found out he wasn't coming via my parents. They were down the pub. They said, we're down the pub with Granville. He sends his best. Having a drink with Granville. Sends his regards. He says he's sorry to disappoint you, but he's busy at the Labour Party conference. He also added that Jeremy Corbyn's been canvassing for him.
I saw on Facebook that he joked, didn't he, last week, that he said a front bench is coming, maybe it'd be Jezza.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, it was, yeah. called in the heavyweights.
I thought he'd done a Photoshop job. I thought, blimey, he's gone to a lot of effort to fake that, hasn't he? That's incredible. But it was actually legit. He was there.
Yeah, so it's a legitimate reason.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Not because of his score.
No, he got 53 points as well. I've nicked a point off him there. 53 points. And Luke is otherwise detained, isn't he? Or detaining others, we should say, by the sounds of it. And as has just gone out for dinner. That's no excuse, is it? But
well, to be fair, he wasn't booked in, and he had gone out. He said, "I'm on my way," but he was tempted to come back, but I don't think he's.
Well, Nando's is very good. I can't blame him. It's the piri these days.
Yeah, it was 2 for 1 offer as well. So.
Excellent. Yeah. Andy, how do we find you? You all right?
Yeah, doing good. After a disappointing week, I would say. I think it's going to be. I think this season's going to be, if the premium strikers stay like they are, a very roller coaster ride. If you've got the wrong ones every week, so. But otherwise, good. Looking forward to next week.
Yes, I am too. I look forward to every week, but I've got to say I wasn't looking forward to game week 6 very much. I think that I was thinking before I came on air that Aguero is such a source of anxiety, not just for people who don't have him, but also for those who do. I think because I was looking at I watched the game against Palace through my fingers. It was a horrible experience. I thought, I think Andy was saying earlier, that we thought we got away with it. He got his goal, he got his assist. But I think non-Aguero owners are going to feel anxiety that he's going to get loads of points. But also Aguero owners are also going to be looking at the clock after an hour going, he hasn't scored yet, is he going to go off? I think it's just going to be something that both sets of fantasy managers have to endure now for the rest of the season. Andy, you were saying about, you thought you'd got away without having Aguero, but he did it in the end. It was inevitable though, wasn't it?
Yeah, as soon as the 3 subs have been made, you just knew the goal was coming, just the way they play at the moment. And I mean, Pep tried it all last season. He went for a spell like this early last season and kind of petered off a bit. I just don't know if the same's going to happen this year when they've got such a wealth of squad options. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to look at. I know we've got this problem where he might not play, but it's just hard to look away from Aguero when he's on form like this. The rule has always been you buy a fit Aguero. So it is worrying not having him every week, to be honest. It's a night because I follow Live Score on Twitter. They're always the first ones to tweet when there's a goal, but they don't tell you who scored. And I was watching a little boy play football and it kept coming at 3-0, 4-0. I was like, oh, Christ, every time this is going to be Aguero. It's just that annoyance every time he gets well. So we'll see how it goes with him.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's like that if you don't have Lukaku and you don't have Kane. And this is the problem this year in that for once, last year, Jonty, we got away with this, didn't we? Because we had Aguero banned for a couple of times. Then we had Jesus come in January to share his points and his minutes. We settled on Kane and Lukaku once Kane got going. And then it was kind of all right. And it was just juggling whether we had 3 up top or whether we went to budget. This year, it's like we've got heavy hitters coming out of our ears. What do we do about it? How did you feel on Saturday, first of all? Was it anxious for you or were you pretty calm about it?
I was calm about it after Kane, but the morning I wasn't at all. I went out and I had to resist the urge to swap Kane to Aguero because the allure of Aguero against Palace was so great.
How close were you?
And I wasn't. I was almost near. But I kept thinking to myself, no, this season I'm going to be dull. This season I'm sticking to my guns. I'm not going to do these kind of risky, adventurous things. I picked Kane. I'm going to go for him. The only thing, and I had decided the night before, was Kane or Lukaku for the captaincy. So for me, that was the main issue. which one of those? And it was someone posted on Twitter about Kane had an amazing record, not just away. We knew about that, but he also had an amazing record in the early kickoffs. He keeps getting loads and loads of goals in these early kickoffs. I mean, he's just a great player, so he's just going to score whenever. So it's probably coincidence. But that was the thing that swayed me to Kane. So yeah, I mean, I finished on 74, and I was very pleased with that, because once you get your captain and it's the early kickoff and he gets your brace and you know he's getting the bonus, it doesn't matter. I didn't mind about it. I didn't matter what else happened. I felt I was fine there, and I knew and I got a goal from Eriksen as well, so I was happy there.
Yeah,
I didn't mind Aguero's points at all, but yeah.
Well, it would have been handy not to have him, but I was in the same boat. I was very pleased. I wasn't expecting Kane to deliver like that, but hoping. I think I said last week that if you got Kane, I'm just going to captain him every week, and I'm probably going to do it again this week, even though Lukaku's staring me in the face as well. But I just think he's just phenomenal, and he's proved it tonight. He's got a hat-trick tonight. It's just, he almost, to me, he seems like he's a player who can go out and get a hat-trick in every game. And I know Aguero is a goal scorer supreme, and in previous Premier League seasons, and he'll get 30 goals. He'll probably run Kane close, but I just still think that Kane has got something extra. It's just uncanny, his ability to score any type of goal. Lukaku's got it to some extent as well, but Kane, he's on free kicks now, it seems. He hit the post twice. He hit the post 5 times this season. It's just, ludicrous. He obviously could have had a few more goals to his tally. He's trailing at the moment, but he's a machine for me at the moment. And once he's in this groove, I don't know if he's going to get knocked out. He got an injury last time, so maybe he'll be derailed like that again. But it's very hard to look beyond him. But the Aguero situation is fascinating. I mean, the thing we haven't talked about is Morata as well, of course, who's come into the frame, and that has pushed us to look at 3 heavyweight strikers up top, as I said at the top of the show. And that fuels a lot of the questions this week, doesn't it, Jonty? Yeah,
so we've got lots of questions on that, and also a question about formation. So if we're assuming that 3 up top's good, how are we going to afford that? So is that going to be as part of a 3-4-3 or a 4-4-3 or even a 5 at the back? Some people are going for. So we're looking at those forwards there, and also looking at a certain Chelsea wing back there, Alonso. So is he surplus to requirements now that we need to get those forwards as well? And but I'm sure we'll reveal our own personal views when we come to look at the game week ahead.
Okay, let's just do a quick review of the game week then. So 74, John T, quite pleased with that. I mean, you had Jones in for Sutton. Sutton got the cleanie, but I guess long term that's a sensible move.
Long term, I knew I wanted Jones long term. I knew I didn't really want Sutton. He was going down in price. It just made sense. Got Salah, me, clean sheet. Eriksen, Lukaku, all helped out. It was a really, really good game week. But it was that Kane captaincy, as I said, really, really calms the nerves. But I just wanted to say that who's having dinner tonight with his loved one, can't be here, but he also got 74 as well. And he was doing if we remember, the hokey cokey of the of the heavy hitters. Can't have them all, but he's decided he's going to try and have them all, even if it means doing a hokey cokey. So he got Aguero in for Lukaku, and got success there with the captaincy. I guess he's looking to get Lukaku back in next week then.
Yeah, so I'm sure he's not having dinner with your parents, is he?
He could be. They could be all there, looking at the latest goals imminent table. Who knows?
I'm sure that's what they do in their spare time. Don't we all? Okay, and Andy, yourself, 64 points, bottom of the pile, other than Granville, who's not here. But are you okay with that? I mean, are you quite happy, or feeling a bit below par on that?
Yeah, below par really. I think that beats the average just about. But it's when you look at everyone else's score, the kind of people that you're competing with at the end. It just felt like in the end it felt like Kane captain. Yeah, fine, it was great, but it kind of just matched Morata and Aguero, and then I got punished by not having one of the other big hitters. I had Jesus instead, who didn't play. And I had Tom Carroll. I switched late on Sutton and Caroline on the bench, and I just don't think I'm going to put Tom Carroll first sub anymore. I don't see where the points are coming from for him. But yeah, I did Jones in for Daniels, who got an assist. I would have been up if I hadn't made the move, but he got 9 points. So I can't look back in hindsight about that and be annoyed. And then Eriksen and Salah doing the business again. Salah in particular just looks like he could have had 2 or 3 goals. I think a big haul is coming from him. So I know he's a bit dodgy when it comes to finishing, but he's getting in all the right positions. So really happy with him. Yeah, I captain Kane, and I was going to put it on Jesus. Obviously, it wouldn't have mattered because I would have vice captain Kane anyway. But yeah, I feel like I got punished a bit by having Jesus and not having one of any of the other big hitters. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, I got rid of Lukaku. That has backfired on me quite a bit. He hasn't gone huge, but that might change this week, and I don't think I can bring him in. So yeah, subpar for me. I feel my season's kind of just getting a bit stale right now. And
after 6 weeks,
I just feel like I need to make like some kind of big move. But then I look at my team and it looks fine. Apart from okay, yes, I could have Lukaku instead of Jesus. That would be great, or Morata, or whoever. But apart from like the striker, my team looks okay, I think, but it doesn't feel okay, if that makes any sense.
This is exactly how I felt last season. I was about a million in the world. I looked at my team, I looked at people above me and thought, well, my team's all right. It's not quite as good as theirs, and they're already 30, 40 points ahead. So that was when I went 2 up front and went 5 in midfield. I just felt I had to do something extreme. And it kind of worked. I got away with it. And it's just maybe a lot of luck in that. But I knew exactly how you felt, because it was like, well, nothing's really wrong, but I don't know how I'm going to ever get any good game weeks out of this, because everyone's got the same players as me, or actually got a slightly better team because they got on the price rises quicker. So it was, it's a weird feeling, and it often hits around this time, which is why wildcards come either 3 and 4 or 6 and 7. That's the popular time to play it, because I think that's what happens to a lot of managers. My game week 72 was all right. I mean, I've started well, and I was hoping it would get even better, but didn't quite deliver from that point on. Lukaku got me the goal. I was happy with that at Southampton, of course. My transfer, Tarkowski, came in, got me the clean sheet as expected. Trent, I thought Trent might play, but wasn't certain, so got rid. And that was a good decision, because he didn't play. He's playing tonight, so he won't play at the weekend. So
is this the first admission? The wildcard wasn't as successful as you thought.
No, he was the Gomez red card, wasn't it? That did for him, because I think that he would have rotated.
Not the 9 goals conceded in his 3 games and his 1 FPL point.
Well, to be fair though, at 4-5, you're not buying him necessarily for only clean sheets.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that, because you do have a unique take on the 4-3-3. So we'll come to that later.
Really, is it unique? But
well,
I mean,
you're fielding a 3-3-3 because you haven't got a viable 4th defender.
Well, you can go there if you like, but I think you'll find this week that is completely incorrect.
Oh, really? But is that because you're making a move?
No.
Oh.
Because never mind. When we get there, I'll make it then rather than now. After Alexander-Arnold, I'm keen to see who the next Alexander-Arnold
next magic bean is.
Was an experiment for the Burnley game, and he created 7 chances. He had a shot cleared off a line. Solanke hit the bloody bar from 4 yards out with a cross that he set up. It could have come off for me, and it didn't. And then Gomez got sent off, so that means he was going to miss the league games around Europe, because it cocked up the rotation. So basically, I had to get rid. It's simple as that. But it was mainly
poison. You've got to get rid of it.
No, he was a punt, wasn't he? He was a 4 or 5 punt in the wildcard, which is what you can do. And I'm sure you'll take 1 or 2 as well. It's like when you play the wildcard, when you book it in, you're going to take either a risk beforehand, or you'll take 1 or 2 with the wildcard, just because there's opportunities there. I thought Trent Alexander-Arnold was a good opportunity for the Burnley home game, and I thought if he had a good game against Burnley, he might get a run at Premier League starts, because Gomez will get Europe. Gomez started in Europe, as I thought, and then he got sent off, which basically derailed the whole thing. So I think Trent will come back. I think, we don't know how long Klein's out, but I still think Trent will be he'll get a haul in a couple of games, because he's taking set pieces and he puts in loads of crosses, and Klopp doesn't like his fullbacks to defend, does he? So it'll be all right.
I mean, Klopp's looking at Coutinho and Terence Trent-D'Arby. He's thinking, which one is going to be on those set pieces? I'm going to give it to the youngster at the back. There's no way I'm giving it to that Brazilian.
He gave it to Trent when Coutinho wasn't playing, wasn't he? So we'll see if he gets a share of them. Yeah, but he doesn't take them right and left, does he? You're getting facetious now. He will still get some corners, and he'll get some set pieces. I just think he's gone after only 2 weeks. Yes, because of the suspension to Gomez. I've explained it.
I know. I just justify it anymore. It's sad for him. I'm sad for him.
The thing is, you could have been so wrong. He set up, as I said, that Burnley game. He set up so many. And Liverpool had so many chances, and it didn't come off for them, did it? They had 35 shots, and they got 1 goal. Had that been 3 or 4 goals, he could have got some points for me.
It's true.
It didn't come off, did it?
I'm filling in.
Burnley had 2 shots.
Because Granville's not here. And you
got
so
away with it.
I'm filling in for Granville.
But the fact is, he's gone because I basically had to change it because I needed a Burnley defender. And that was it. But it was a one-off, wasn't it? We'll see. I still think he'll do all right. So 72 points, all right. I mean, it's a funny game because a lot of people scored very well, didn't they? So it was hard to we made a bit of ground. We all got green arrows to an extent, but it wasn't a game week 8. It wasn't a massive jump for anybody. So we'll take it, but we're still waiting for that big game week. And to be honest, I don't know, because of the striker situation, because of the big hitters all doing well, and they're going to take it in turns to do well. I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to take Kane and Lukaku, for me personally, to have a good week. It's going to take Kane and Lukaku to deliver, and all the others to stay quiet. I don't know what the chances are of that, because one of Aguero, Morata, Jesus, they're gonna get goals, aren't they? Or even Lacazette now. So I just think it's a very difficult season where I think people aren't going to have massive jumps in rank because of the strikers sharing goals all the time. But we could be wrong. We'll see. It could be coming up this game week. Rough with the smooth. Only one rough.
Yeah, no one would own up because everyone did so well, really. Even if you did average, you were still probably looking at a couple of goals from your captain or something like that because it was such a high average. So the only one is FFScoutCast. He's the only one to put his head above the parapet. He took out Pedro, which is okay. He missed out on Pedro's goal, but it's in successive 3 weeks he's taken out a player who's got their best haul of the season. So the previous couple of weeks he's got rid of Jesus and Valencia as well. So he's got this knack of anticipating and getting rid of a player just when they're about to score.
Who's he getting rid of this week? Has he told us?
Well, no, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll ask him on.
Well, Pedro's got a knock, so he'll be pleased. And we'll
definitely get him in the scout picks, whoever it is. But yeah, so plenty of smooths.
You'll be pleased to know that Pedro's got a knock, so perhaps he feels a bit better. Like
he might feel a bit better. Probably, yeah.
City, but we'll see. Bad luck there. So smooth. Plenty. Do we want to hear these? Any hunt? Oh, there are 100 points. Okay.
There's a couple. There's one, yeah. But I mean, I'll just a couple out of the way first before I go to the one I think is the smoothest. But yeah, so a manager has no name. He wildcarded. He got in Azpilicueta, Bellerin, Silva, and Aguero. Finished with 91 points. Wonderful. McNulty, he swapped Aguero and Stevens. He swapped out Stevens for Jones. And he got Aguero in, all part of the hit. But this is the best one. Lorenzo, he played a free hits chip.
Interesting.
So this is what. So I've always thought with these chips, with a bench boost or triple captain, I think if you can get an extra 20 to 30 points for that, you've done exceptionally well, I think. And that's exactly what he's got. He got 105. He estimates he's around 30 points up. I know he's back to his normal team as well. So basically what he did is he pretty much got rid of a lot of his Liverpool and Manchester United assets. So he got rid of Mkhitaryan, Lukaku, Firmino. Alonso as well he got rid of as well. And in came those City lads. And so he got Silva in, he got Aguero, he captained. He also got Morata in. He had Kane already, I think. And Otamendi came in as well. So he really stocked up on City. And, well, it completely paid off. Yeah, so I think when we play our free hit chips later in the season, when we play it probably in blank weeks, if we can get 30 points out of that, it'll be a major success.
Well, the thing is, we might not, because it depends on the fixtures, doesn't it? I mean, this is it. It's like we're all thinking, that's when we play it. But if the teams that I've got fixtures left are not good teams with not good attacking players, we're not going to get that kind of return.
If we can get 15 to 20, that'll probably be okay for a free hit chip. Probably we'll get less. He's already up on us, so good on you, Lorenzo. It's a maverick move.
Cool. And I think it's clever because, I mean, City have got Chelsea, haven't they? So he looked at it and went, well, they've got an easy fixture followed by the difficult one, which is the perfect scenario. And it's coming up to an extent this time around because if you've got City players, you can play it, the free hit into this week, get them out and get United players in. And these are the scenarios you can look at with a free hit. We're all kind of banking on it, like we say, for the reduced fixtures. But like if we get teams that are limited in terms of goals and clean sheets, we're not going to get big returns. So it's going to be. This is the first season with it, so we don't know how to play it, and we don't know what the expectations should be. We kind of knew that the all-out attack was limited, and we knew that bench boost was what 15 to 20. Did we say would be all right? Free hit,
much, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, free hit. We don't know. It could be that we have to get 30. So interesting stuff. He did well, no doubt about it. So let's talk about these strikers then, because we got Firmino in our teams, and I played the wild card to get Firmino in our teams, in my team. So he was a driving force for making that change, because I felt that I wanted him. Now he's the most sold player around, isn't he?
Well, yeah. So Hardly Athletic asks, is it time? Is it time to start Firmino? He's saying, are people too hasty getting rid of Firmino? He's saying that Sadio Mane is back from suspension, and he's done a bit of homework for us, which is good. Firmino's points with Mane on the pitch, 26 from 3 matches, including 6 bonus points. Firmino's points without Mane on the pitch, 6 points from 3 matches, which is awful. So, and there's speculating as well with Coutinho back as well. Surely it'll be a matter of time before Firmino is getting goals, assists, bonus again. He's kept him, and he think he will come back to haunt those who transferred him out, he says. So, yeah, I mean, I had a look at some of the underlying stats as well, and it backs up what he's saying, really. Game weeks 1 to 4 with Mane, he's getting baseline bonus as well. So strip out those goals and assists, he's getting the baseline bonus. And that's because his dribbling is up, he's taking on players, he's moving into the box, more attempts on goal, more headed attempts, more range of attempts. He's actually taking shots on target. He's had none without Mane. He's creating more. I mean, he's just a better player, better fantasy asset. He's actually a proper forward. Game is 5 or 6. He's not. He goes back to being a sort of rubbish Mkhitaryan, kind of loitering and not really doing much. Crossing sort of went up, but they weren't very successful. It also looks like he's off corners as well. So yeah. So I back up what Harvey Athletic's saying. It does appear that with Mane he's better, and without Mane he's absolutely awful.
I put it to you though, and to Hardy, that that's just Firmino, isn't it? He goes on and off the ball all the time. I kind of felt that that's what we're going to get with him.
I mean,
it's difficult to say if it's down to those players, but
I think the real thing is that Mane's a really great player, and he enlivens any side he's going to be in. He did with Southampton. He's doing that with Liverpool. Liverpool's just simply better, and Firmino's got probably more confidence, as all the other players have, when they've got a player like that beside him.
Yeah, so I think it works well with the 2 pacey guys either side of Firmino. I think that is Klopp's ploy, so I think there is something in this. So I think that I'm definitely going to give him the Newcastle game, because that's that. I mean, every game Liverpool play, you think they've got to get 3 goals, because the way, obviously, they don't bank on clean sheets. They don't play for them, do they? So away from home in particular. So they're going to get goals. It's just how much is Firmino going to get involved? And we know he was involved with Mane and Salah, either side of him, a lot more perhaps than he has been in the last couple of games. So I'm going to keep. Andy, what's your views on Firmino? I mean, so many people getting rid. Do you see it as hasty, or do you think that it's the right time now?
I think if they're getting players like Vardy, and I think that's a fine transfer. I wouldn't tell someone to absolutely not do that. Like, for me, I basically put a lot of money into Firmino because he was the one that I got with Jesus to justify getting rid of Lukaku, and it's really backfired. So I'm the same as you. I kind of want to give him that Newcastle game now. Mane's back. Hopefully Coutinho will go back into central midfield, and they'll play those 3 up front. But I guess at that point, then you've probably got more of a split of points, which could become an issue with Coutinho. I mean, Coutinho's quite a greedy player, likes to shoot from outside the box generally. I'm a bit worried about him. Plus, I just looked at the fixtures then. It's like Man United at home and then Spurs away. And I know we always say Liverpool do well, and they do. But it's not like they're going to go out and batter those teams and score loads of goals. They might win, but I don't think they're going to go and score 3 or 4 goals against either of those teams, who are probably the two of the best defenses in the league. So I'm a bit worried about him. I'm not looking to get rid this week, but that's mainly because I might wildcard next week, and I might have another transfer up my sleeve. So from personal circumstances, if you've already wildcard and stuff and you're looking at Vardy, then I don't see why you wouldn't make that move. He's off. He's no Europe for Vardy. He should still be on penalties, I'd say, even though he's just missed one. So I don't think Mahrez is any better. So I think it's fine to get rid, but at the same time, if you keep him if you want to keep because Mane's back in Newcastle, I think that's fine. And I don't want to not give an answer either way, but I don't think there is a straight you have to sell him. Let's see how well he does when Mane and Coutinho are back in the team first. I think.
Yeah, John, what are you doing? You keeping as well for Newcastle?
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep for Newcastle. I want to give him one more go, and then he will go for me, and we'll come to that in a bit. But
you've already booked that in, have you?
I've already booked his departure.
Regardless of what
off your pop, Bob. He's off. Yeah, because I've got Salah. I think Salah is the main attraction there. He is just really good. He just doesn't seem to be stopping. He's not slowing down. Firmino is like either good. It's like not so good with Mane, good with Mane. I can't be doing with that. Faffing around. He's like an old lady. It's like it's like I can't decide when I'm going to the post office or something like that. It's just like really like I want Salah. I just want Salah going. Whoa, right, I'm off. I'm going to score. Don't care who's next to me. I don't care if it's that Oxlade-Chamberlain bloke that for some reason we bought. I'm just going to go for goal, and that's why I like Salah. Firmino, he relying on all these different things. Nah, there's no time to hang around this season for people like that.
He's a funny player, isn't he? Because he never looks convincing, but he's full of lovely touches and obviously creative. He can take goals and he gets chances. The penalties were the big allure as well, and we don't know if he's going to hold it. He's one of the many players who we don't really know if he's on pens or not. Hazard, you can add Aguero to that now, I guess, but it's difficult with him because I want to keep him because I like him as a player. And I know how crucial he is to the way Klopp plays. And you kind of think, well, if they get 3 or 4 goals in a game, he's got to get some points. But that doesn't always happen. And he's got this way of just disappearing, hasn't he, out of the points and not getting involved, particularly perhaps when Coutinho's there. So that changes the dynamic when Coutinho's back. I mean, I'm like you. I'm looking at it the week after. I'm going to bank my transfers with this in mind, that if he fails at Newcastle, he's probably got to go because he's going to plummet over the break. Obviously, with 2 transfers, I might make the 3 and make some big surgery. So then it could be for the 3 up front, which Vardy, let's talk about him because it's interesting. He is a like for like, same price, quite tempting. I'm coming round to him. There's something about him. He's a bit like Firmino. He's a player who never really grabs me, but he's a player that is effective without convincing me that he's got massive points hauls in him. But he's consistent, isn't he? I mean, you like him, don't you, John T? I mean, is that who you're going to look for?
Yeah, he's booked in. Yeah, but I've already told him he's coming in. I said, you get pop down to Bournemouth,
get your party started. Yeah,
don't do too much. I don't want your price going up too quickly. And then, I mean, what it is Vardy is a goal scoring striker. Firmino is, as we said, this kind of strange old lady. So this is what I want. This is what you want with the defender. You want clean sheets. With a midfielder, you want them to assist. You want for a striker. I mean, we're all back to basic stuff. You want them to score, and Vardy scored. So you look at the goals scored. You got Morata, Aguero, Lukaku on 6, and then you got the kind of slightly below Vardy. But look at the price difference. He's 3 million cheaper than these guys, and he's on 5. And then you got Lacazette, Jesus, and Kane. Well, we know that Kane just had the August thing, so Kane should be shooting up those rankings. And then you look at underlying stats as well. You look at shots on target, all those types of things. You've got Lukaku, you've got Salah, you've got Kane, Aguero, Joselu for some reason still hanging around there like a bit of a smell. And then you've got Eriksen, and then you've got Morata, and then you've got Vardy. So Vardy's right up there with these big hitters. He's 8.5. To me, it's just a no-brainer at the moment. So, yeah, he's booked in.
Yeah, it's funny. I guess it's Leicester. I'm still not trusting them, but they are looking very attacking still. And I don't say they're back to what they were, but they've got a big goal for it. They seem to be a fluid attacking team again. Vardy, whether he's playing central or off to the left, he still looks a danger. He's still getting the box and he's on penalties. So it's very, very tempting to do the straight swap. I'm going to leave. I'm not, unlike you. He's not booked in. He's a consideration. And also, if Firmino plays exceptionally well at Newcastle and gets points, then I might not get rid. But I'm also looking at moving to, obviously, like a lot of people are, 3 big hitters and going Jesus or Morata, who's very popular indeed. Is that not something you're considering, or are you sticking with the kind of spend you've got in that area right now? Because Andy's got that already, hasn't he? What's your spending up front? You've got Jesus, Kane, and your third striker is Andy?
Firmino.
Okay, Firmino. So are you looking at going to a bigger player for Firmino, or are you looking at Vardy as well?
I think a lot will depend on when I wildcard. I think it's going to be too many transfers to switch to 3 up front. Well, it's maybe 3 transfers for me to switch it. I'd have to. The problem with me is I'd have to get rid of one of Mkhitaryan, Eriksen, and Salah, and I don't want to make that decision. because I like having them. Yes, Mkhitaryan blanked at the weekend, but I got him for 8 million. He's going to have to do that a few more times before I start worrying about him. So for me, it'd be much easier to get Vardy because he just fits in. It's a straight swap. If I want someone like Morata, I've got to downgrade one of those midfielders. And I'm not prepared to do that right now, I don't think. So that's why I'm looking more towards Vardy. But yeah, Morata at 10 million. I mean, it's not that much more. Well, he's not 10 million now. He's like 10.4, but maybe even more. I don't know. It looks good value, especially with what we're going to talk about in a minute, is the fixture swing.
Yeah, I mean, so John, you're not tempted by that as well. I mean, that's why I'm want to bank my transfers in case I want to do big surgery.
Yeah, no, I still think there's value in. Well, we've already mentioned Salah. We've got Eriksen as well. Eriksen just looks fantastic. So he's not leaving my team. And then you got the likes of Silva. You've still got Mkhitaryan, and you've just got good midfielders. Not a lot of them, but you've got at least. I could happily fill my team with 3 or 4 really good midfielders. And then you've got these defenders who are doing really well as well. We'll come to defenders a bit later, but I'm not comfortable not having a couple of defenders who are over 5 million. They're looking really good. We saw with Azpilicueta. I'd like to have a bit more of that spread of points as well. But I think at the moment, Vardy, as we said, is performing like all those players we just mentioned that cost 3 million more. So to me, that's 3 million saved. I can use that. But yeah, I mean, as Andy said, another factor in Vardy is this game week 8 fixture swing. It's a big one. And we've got a few questions on that. So we've got Karen 14 has asked, is it worth keeping hold of triple Spurs for those wildcard in game week 8? This applies to everyone though. Is it worth keeping that kind of coverage? For most, that's Davis. We got in trouble, by the way, from half of Wales last week. It was probably me mainly calling Davies.
It's Davis,
It's Davis. So we're happy with that. And Eriksen, Ali, and Kane. So and then Karen 14 also asked about the best defender option. So he's looking at Chelsea and City there. And the reason he's asking that is because yes, Tottenham are at home and they're against Bournemouth. So you've got to think even though it's at home and they've got the Wembley problems, it's Bournemouth and Bournemouth don't know how to defend. They will not compromise. But then it gets really dicey. Then they've got Liverpool. Then they got Manchester United, a nice home fixture against Palace, but we don't know. We've seen they've had trouble before with the likes of Palace, that kind of Swansea, Burnley type side, and then Arsenal away. So that's the derby. So anything can happen there. And then you look at the other teams. So you're looking at Chelsea, you've got Crystal Palace away, and you've got Watford at home, Bournemouth away. You've got Manchester United at home. Okay, that's a bad one. Then West Brom away, and then you're looking at City as well. Stoke. Burnley at home, wow. West Brom away, wow. Remember last season, did well there. Arsenal at home, well, we've seen they can do damage to Arsenal. And then Leicester away. So these are much better fixtures. And then I look at Leicester as well. It's going on and bombarding people with fixtures here. But Leicester, West Brom at home. This is from game week 8 onwards. West Brom at home, Swansea away, Everton at home, Stoke away. These are great fixtures. It's difficult. I can see why. I'm actually going to be hanging on to my Spurs players because I'm looking a little bit further ahead as well. And none of them are doing it. Kane and Eriksen and Davis. I'm just going to, I don't know, I might have to get rid of it. I might do a hokey cokey with Kane, which is a risk.
Really?
It's a risk. But that's as far as I'll go.
Yeah,
because Davis is just too good value and Eriksen's too good.
I look at it and go, there are some. I think with the strikers, it's difficult because I think when you're looking at Lukaku and Kane, and I think less so with Lukaku because I think he has struggled before against big teams. So with him, there's a case. With Kane, I just think he's too good that I'm to get me worried about these fixtures. I think he can easily score against any of those defences. I think I'm less inclined to worry about Spurs assets. I think Davis won't get too many clean sheets, perhaps. So I'll be less inclined to worry about Spurs. I'll be more worried about United because the thing has been United, when they come up against tougher teams, they're a completely different side. Mourinho will set them up completely different. Whereas I don't know if Pochettino necessarily will change, make fundamental changes to tactics and the way they play. Mourinho will go out not to lose against Liverpool, Spurs and Chelsea and to try and win on the counter of a 1-0. That's typically what he does. I don't know if he'll do it this time, but that's what we've seen in the past. So that's why I'm more worried about Mkhitaryan and Lukaku than I am Kane and Ali, because I think the change will be bigger. Andy, what's your views on that? I mean, United, are you expecting United to play that way, or do you think Mourinho's more cavalier this time?
No, I think we look better in attack generally, and we've done better in attack against the smaller teams, for want of a better word. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I don't think he's going to change. So he's always played against the big teams. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Mkhitaryan is probably the one out of my three midfielders that I'm already looking at possibly getting rid of. Like I said just earlier, I got him for 8 million, so I don't want to be in a rush about that. But the fixtures are pretty bad, and I don't see us going all out attack. Now, if you've got Lukaku, it's maybe a different story. Most of the goals are probably going to go through him anyway. But I just think with the amount of options up there, you've got to look at Lukaku out. But it's like it's happened to me. It can be punishing when he's owned by 60% of the whole game. You know, 1 or 2 goals you miss out on, and your striker doesn't do well. That's a big rank hit. So I think Phil Jones is fine to keep. Like, he's so cheap. If we are going to play that way, then there's possible clean sheets from those games. Like, I wouldn't like to bet on one against Spurs, but it could happen the way we play. Mkhitaryan, I think, is probably starting to get towards the chopping block, maybe. But I think we need to see a bit more from him first. And then Lukaku, it's a tough decision to make. If you've got the balls, I think there is probably better value over those games than him. It's just actually clicking that button to get rid of him when he's done so well. Like,
it's a big move, isn't it?
He's not really done anything. He's done nothing. In fact, it's not anything. He's done nothing to warrant getting rid of. And I can tell you firsthand, it was a mistake for me. But over those fixtures, at some point, maybe you got to take the risk that, you know, Morata with better fixtures and less money is going to do the business for you.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? That's looking at the teams with the bad fixtures, looking at the teams with good ones. City, John T, I look at them and think, yeah, well, we know all about them. They're probably going to score goals against anybody anyway. So the fixtures are good. But what worries me there is perhaps with the good fixtures, the rotations are going to be more of an issue. So City, you know, you get Chelsea. I don't know how to play Chelsea. That's the thing. I mean, it's Morata and Hazard, isn't it? I mean, where else do we go there?
Yeah, it's one of those two, and it's a defender, because we've seen how good their defenders are. We've seen in the past how good Cahill is. We've seen this weekend how good Azpilicueta is. And we've seen this season and last season how good Alonso is. And we're about to see in a couple of weeks how cheap Luiz is as well, because his price is falling, because, of course, he's suspended at the moment. Yeah, I'm looking at those fixtures there. I just wanted to say that page 302 in Urbox, we've already covered United, but they asked similar questions there. Is it time to get rid of them? Yes, I'm looking to get rid of Lukaku. I'm looking at those fixtures, and I just think there's going to be better. So I'm looking at teams from game week 8 through to game week 12. And in defence, I'm looking at Southampton. They're continuing to be good. I'm looking at Burnley, really good. Everton are still good if we think they can keep clean sheets. Swansea are knocking around for those cheap enablers. Your Fernandes, Norton, Fabianski. You know, great bet there. And then you're looking at Chelsea and City are good if you want to spend a little bit more on defence. And then in attack, it's Leicester, Man City and Chelsea, I think, are the strongest. For me, I look at those fixtures, I just think, so for me, my wildcard front line will probably be Vardy, Morata, and I'm gonna for now shun Aguero and stick with Kane. So I'm ignoring that fixture, but that is a worry. And I think Liverpool are good from game week 10. They've got a couple of tricky ones. Arsenal just get awful, and so do Manchester United. So Lacazette's not in my thinking. Lukaku's not in my thinking.
So are you worried about Lukaku? I mean, I'm concerned that he can dry up over that spell, but at the same time, like Andy says, it's still a risk because I don't think he's playing particularly well. I don't think United are playing the kind of football we were seeing from City or even Spurs at times. But they're creating a load of chances. I mean, it's incredible. They seem to just bully teams into scoring goals. And it's like the Southampton goal it's a typical goal they've scored this year, wasn't it?
I think if you're getting rid of Lukaku, you have to anticipate trying to get him back in and being perhaps just a hit away from doing that. One of the things I'm thinking is we also had a question about talking about fixture swing. Someone, Line A, is really thinking in advance, and I like this. What about the game weeks 11 to 12 fixture swing? There's another international break ahead of game week 12, and he's already looking there. And there's some big swings there. So all of the wonderful cheap players that we're looking at, like at Southampton or at Swansea, suddenly their fixtures take a bit of a nosedive, really, particularly on Southampton. So those Southampton clean sheets, they're going to dry up. Newcastle just turned to absolute awfulness. So suddenly people like me who've got Richie need to be looking elsewhere. Elliott is going to be, well, you're going to be needing another goalkeeper. So you'll be popping down to Brighton to give Matt Ryan a.
No, I'll be
really
upgrading the keeper soon. Yeah, at that point.
Yeah. Another magic bean disappears. But then are you looking at Bournemouth defenders like Daniels? I think Watford are starting to look really good. Their fixtures. So it's these kind of the cheap seats there. So when people are wildcarding this week or they're thinking of transfers, I think you need to be starting to think ahead. And some of those bench players, Crystal Palace get better as well. So the much mocked Loftus-Cheek could actually be quite a good asset from game week 12 onwards.
It's game week 9 actually. Palace and Bournemouth switched from about game week 9, so they're a bit earlier because they're not quite on your chart in terms of game week 8. But if you move it forward, Palace go right to the top. It's so good job because they probably ain't going to score a goal before then the way it's going. So they open up, and so do Bournemouth again. So they could be mid-price value as well as Leicester defenders maybe. So it's a good period. It's just how much you're willing to go with this. It's fixtures versus form again comes into it, doesn't it, as well? Because getting rid of Lukaku at this time is going against that for sure. So it's a very big turning point of the season. This and many people's theories about the way they play fantasy football are going to be tested. During this time, so it's interesting stuff.
I mean, I think the logical thing, looking at the fixtures and form, because Morata's in form, is you should be looking at Morata really. And perhaps switching him to Lukaku, but then Morata's fixtures are still good. But by then we'll know whether Morata's the real deal. Now his stats are his underlying stats aren't quite as good as the likes of Kane and Aguero and Lukaku. So there is an element: will he regress, or will he end up being like a bit of a Yaya Toure or Jamie Vardy type figure? In that it's just very accurate, doesn't need that many chances. So we'll definitely know by that stage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, formations 3-4-3, 4-3-3. Yeah, I mean 3-4-3 is the classic, isn't it? And the one that we very rarely move from. We had 5 in midfield a lot last season. I went with that. I went 3-5-2 for a lot of the time, and it worked well for me. But then there's different circumstances. This season, it seems we've got to have 3 up front. That already now seems to be the way. It's very difficult. It seems to go. I mean, Hammer doesn't help by getting suspended by the look of it, and we got Niasse and we've got Tammy Abraham, who I started the season with. Swansea aren't scoring goals, so the budget striker doesn't appear to be there right now, and the big hitters are delivering. So we've got to have 3 up front. So how do we configure the midfield and defence? So we've got some questions on this, haven't we, Jonathan?
Yes. So I mean, AFC 49 and Jaffa lads, based put it like that. Is it 3-4-3 or 4-3-3? And then Pinocchio and Karen 14 again. Looking at who is our best 3 strikers. So if we're going to assume that the 3 up top is the best way, and then Red Lightning brings up the thing about the double pivot, the strategy that you've gone for. But he was saying that it works fine if you've got 4 or 5 at the back, but in a 3-4-3 it doesn't look so good at the moment. So yeah, it's got those questions on there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think if you're going to go 3 big hitters, I mean, I'm probably not going to do that. But if you were entertaining the idea of going Kane, Lukaku, Morata, or Kane, Aguero, Morata, I don't see how you can not have to be shifted into a 4-3-3 or play a 4-5. Because Red Lightning was raising this, and who's going to be the 4th midfielder if you've got 3 big hitters up front is my issue. Because the biggest spend that you can have surely is then our friend Atsu again, isn't it, Andy? So what would you do if you're playing the 4th?
Sorry?
Who would the 4th midfielder be if you're playing 3-4-3?
Well, I'm already playing Atsu. I have to afford those 6 I got up front. And if I want to afford... This is without wildcard and completely shifting money around. I'd either have to go super cheap at the back. And at the moment, Ben Davies is my... most expensive defender, followed by Phil Jones. So it's not like I'm spending huge money already. I've already got that 4 million keeper. So to afford 3 big hitters without changing that defence, I would have to lose Mkhitaryan or Salah or Ericsson to downgrade someone I don't really want. So I have someone I don't really want plus Atsu, who is doing fine, but he's never going to get me that big haul. He's only 5 million, so he's basically there to afford what I have right now. So three up front is all well and good. 3 big hitters, but you've probably got 2 weak midfielders then.
Yeah.
Around 6, 5, like Choupo-Moting, Gross, those kind of players.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way. I've looked at it and gone, the only way I can go 3 big hitters really is to forfeit one of the 3 midfielders that I've got and go a mid-price. you know, maybe a Richie or Chippenmontin or a Richarlison, and then it's easy. But then I've still got to have the 4-5. So I don't see this argument about the 4-5s being a problem, or not as a problem, but I just think that's the only way. I mean, how does anyone get 4 mid-priced midfielders or a decent fourth midfielder and still have the big hitters up front? You can do it if you go with Vardy, but not Morata, I don't think.
I mean, I think the point Red Lightning was making was that it is a completely sound and viable strategy, but you need to be able to have that flexibility to field 4 good defenders. It's absolutely no good if you're set up in a 3-4-3 and then you've got to field something like Tom Carroll every week, and that's the point he was making. I mean, I'm looking at this on my wild card, and I've juggled around with some, and I've basically come down to the conclusion I've either got to have 2 4.5 midfielders and bench them most weeks, or and that way I have a really good 4, you know, to actually get someone like Azpilicueta in my 4-man defence, which I'm actually happy about. I like that. Or the other thing, which I'm not happy about, and this is the only other option really, the way I'm set up, is I'll get a much cheaper defender, go 3 at the back, and then my 4th, if I'm still playing Richie, so Richie's my 4th one, so my 3rd or 4th, my other midfielder, he's got to be around 7 million. And there's absolutely no one apart from Richie. There's other people, I've said this on site, there's other people saying, oh, what about so none of them for me personally appeal as much as Azpilicueta, who gets bonus attacking and clean sheet points in a Chelsea side that's got amazing fixtures. I just think he looks better. So that's the choice I'm at with. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking at changing my age-old 3-4-3 and looking 4-3-3, because this season is different. Every season is different. But this season, it's all about those premium strikers.
Yeah, it is right now, and I don't think you can do it. I mean, everyone's going on about Loftus. I still think when Palace start scoring some goals, Loftus-Cheek will be a player we can play as a 4th mid. I don't see any. He hit the post at City, didn't he? So he's looking good. It's just Palace are just dreadful. Well, Benteke being out for 6 weeks really doesn't help at all, does it? So where the goals are going to come from?
He's got no one to pass
I really don't know. Zaha's going to come back and go, what do I do now? So
it's good you mentioned Zaha. Because of all of the 7 million midfielders that I think I could field every week, especially from game week 9 or 10 or so, when Palace's fixtures get better, is Zaha. And he should be back around then. So I kind of like to leave myself a bit of space to get him in, because they have no strikers. So they're going to have to play Zaha or Sakho up front, realistically. Either as some kind of weird false 9 or as a striker. So basically, you're going to have one of those two is going to be out of position. There's simply no other choice. They do not have another striker. I mean, as a Brighton fan, looking at our lack of strikers, we're in a striker wonderland with an injured Glenn Murray compared to Palace at the moment. So, people should be looking out for Zaha, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he could end up playing there. I think Sakho will start at United, but I mean, the fixtures are bad anyway, so we're not looking at Palace. But from 8 onwards, they got a good run. So I'm all right playing Loftus-Cheek in those games if they got a goal for it, but I don't see where that's going to come from. So he's going to have to score himself. He's trying, but it isn't coming off at the moment, is it? But I still think he's going to be all right for 4-5. But there isn't anyone else. Chalobah's out now to the new year, so that's a blow. And Tom Carroll's playing with Swansea. You don't have Llorente, so they don't have that player to hit. He's putting in big chances from set pieces. No one's converting them. So he's not going to get points, like Andy said at the top of the show. We haven't got that Kapuri option at the moment. And we kind of need 2 of them at the moment.
I've done a little look at some budget midfielders, done a little table of 4.5 midfielders, and it's not good. So, you know, underlying stats wise, it's Tom Carroll at Swansea, but he's just producing nothing. It's just not a fantasy asset. So he's not a player, as Andy said. I want to field. So I mean, this is looking at Swansea. So say if you've got Norton or Fernandes, you look at total points. Carroll's on 14. Fernandes and Norton on 26 and 27 respectively. Or even Fabianski's better, 30. So you're going to get much more points out of fielding a 4.5 Swansea defender than you are Tom Carroll. So Tom Carroll is just next to useless. So you're looking at other ones. Yeah, Loftus-Cheek with the good fixtures, without, I don't know, there's a possibility there. Let's look in the future. And the rest is really, I mean, it's an awful list, really. So you're looking at people like Sermon at Bournemouth, Andy King at Leicester. I mean, these are not
Scraping the barrel of it.
I mean, the barrel's it's gone.
I think
scraping the ground underneath it.
We pick 4 million defenders and don't think anything of it. So we can pick one midfielder, I think, and go, well, we're never going to need him. Just like we do the 4 million defender. I had Long. People have got Mbemba, who's not going to stick around forever at left back. So that's going to happen in defence. It's whether we can afford to do it in midfield twice, because we're going to need a fourth midfielder playing if we've got 3 big hitters, unless you invest in the back. If you invest in the back, you then got to cut one of your big hitters out in midfield. It's very, very difficult. And like you said, it's that 6 to 7 million bracket in midfield. We really need a couple of good players, and we haven't really got one. I think Richarlison and Richie are the best we've got in there, and they would, with Choupo-Moting, would tempt me a bit. And I've built a team going, okay, with 3 transfers, this is what it could look like. But you're banking on players that Richie's going to get points every 3 or 4 games. Same for Choupo-Moting, same for Richarlison. That's what you expect for that price. That's what you get. That's what you're going to get. No point moaning about it. So it's difficult, isn't it?
I mean, for example, if you look at Bournemouth's fixtures from game week 12 onwards, so this is when Atsu and Richie's fixtures turn a bit nasty. So they're ones that, well, I mean, I'd say that they've got Watford at home game week 13, but on the whole, they've got Manchester United and Chelsea in that. So I'd actually be willing to play someone like Charlie Daniels as part of a 4-man defence. I think you're going to get more points out of a 5 million Charlie Daniels than you are against any of those 4.5 midfielders I've mentioned there. And so everything for me is pointing to 4 at the back.
Yeah.
Currently, sadly for me, because I'm so used to 3-4-3, so I'm gonna have to go out of my comfort zone, I think.
Yeah, and Charlie Daniels, I think, is a key player because the fixtures turned from game week 8, and he's a player that you wouldn't mind playing. Like, he got the assist at Everton, so you don't mind playing away from home necessarily because a lot of it goes through him. So I think he's a really handy player to have at 4.9, and he's someone I wanted at the start of the season. I got him in and got rid in the wild card because Bournemouth started so badly, but I want him back. Andy, you just got rid of him. I mean, he's a player that you're going to look at in a couple of weeks because it does turn for them, and he just seems integral to the way they go forward.
Yeah, I'll definitely look at him. Yeah, he's 4.9 now. I lost 0.1 million on him. That won't deter me from getting him back. When the fixtures are right, yeah, I'll look at him again. He got the assist the weekend, which is great, but I think generally they're not looking like clean sheets, so you really are relying on those attacking returns, and they seem a bit more unlikely, obviously, against the big team. So yeah, in the future, I'll look at him, and I guess if you weigh him up against Atsu and Loftus-Cheek, maybe he is a better option. I think some of it is just psychological. Like, people sometimes look at my team and think, oh, it's fine, I've got Atsu, and they look at yours and think, well, for 0.5 million less, then Loftus-Cheek is just a no-go. But I think if they were the same price, it'd be different. So I'm sticking with the 4 in midfield for now. I don't know if I want to switch it, because the other thing is as well, if we think all these 4.5 million midfielders are duds and we go 4 at the back, then they're your backup. Whereas now I have Atsu playing, and I have a 4.5 million defender who is probably okay if he has to come on. So I'm sticking for that right now. I don't think there's too much in it though, but I'm happy to stay 3-4-3 for now.
Yeah, no, actually, I think it's going to be that way for me. But unless Palace can find goals, I mean, then I'll play Loftus-Cheek. But it's just difficult at the moment. You can't.
So are you going to play until the fixtures get good? Are you going to play Carroll then, or play 4?
No, I'm going to play 4 at the back and just use my transfers in defence. So Daniels is going to come in a couple of weeks for sure. I think for one of my 5s or elsewhere. But I'm going to bank my transfers this week, give me a bit more flexibility. But I think I'll have to play. Until Loftus-Cheek's fixtures are better, I'd rather have a 4-5 defender than Carroll playing, because I think, like even someone like a Burnley defender away from home, the way Burnley are defending, you think, well, I'd probably rather have a Tarkowski playing with goal threat.
Well, I was going to say, actually, because I'm a big fan of Ben Mee, and I was thinking, because I'm obviously playing him in those home games, so clean sheet potential. Assuming I would also possibly get a goal, but his goal threat is, in fact, the goal threat of virtually all the Burnley defence is terrible at home. Away is where Ben Mee is great. So you've got this interesting thing for Ben Mee owners. I might field him against Everton this weekend, because if a goal's going to come, I was looking back actually at some of Man City's results last season about Aguero against Chelsea, and I just stumbled upon an Aguero Burnley result, of which Ben Mee scored against City. See, that's annoying. That's not what you want as a fantasy manager. It's out of the blue. But I think Ward, actually, I think if I I think Ward is the one really, because he's the bonus one, and he's actually got attacking returns. I think Tarkowski is below me. He's third on that list really. Loughton, obviously, I'm not really looking at.
Yeah, they're all a bit of a mix. It's like Ward is the getting forward, getting dribbles and crosses, and he's better in the BPS.
Bonus. Yeah.
You've got Tarkowski, who's better in the BPS than me, but me's got better goal threat at the moment. So it's Ward. I don't know. I think probably did make an error. I would have gone Ward maybe. I didn't want to get me and then him drop straight away. That's the danger.
I did say, was it the price that was?
Yeah, that played a part. But I looked at Tarkowski and he's slightly better minutes per BPS. And I looked at the goal threat and go, well, the thing is, it's not like you can't definitely say that, you know, Me's got a greater goal threat for the rest of the season. At the moment he has, but we saw it with Macaulay and Dawson. It completely switched with 20 games to go. Macaulay had 2 shots for the last 15 games and Dawson had 14. It's unexplained, so it's difficult to say.
I think ultimately with a Burnley defender, you have to go with the bread and butter of what they're all about, which is a clean sheet at home. And that's the way I'm going to field them. If I get anything, Ben Mee attacking wise, happy days. But it's in which case they're all fairly equal. But it does look like Ward is the one who's going to get the bonus. So that's a switch I might make.
I think Burnley are playing more football this year. I didn't consider Ward because I kind of thought Burnley don't really get forward enough, don't put in crosses really. They're not really, the fullbacks don't really become a factor. But Loughton and Ward have done well going forward this season, and Burnley are passing the ball more. So maybe it's a different animal now. But I'm all right with Tarkowski. And like I say, he was someone it's like, would you play Carroll or would you play a defender who's got a chance of a clean sheet and could get something at a set piece? There's not a lot in it, is there, really, when it's Tom Carroll? When it's Loftus-Cheek with a better fixture, I would play Loftus-Cheek, but that isn't the case at the moment. So it's very tricky. Alonso, then, this is interesting because he's a player. Have we all had him this year? Andy, you've had him, haven't you?
Nope.
Okay, it was Luke who's got him.
As's got him.
Granville's got him.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, it's a player that we all love, a player we all cover. It's a player that we're dumping at the moment, it seems. So what's the questions on this, Jonathan?
So, yeah, it also leads into centre-backs versus full-backs as well. That's what this discussion's about, really. So Atletico Nashabo, what to do with Alonso? Most expensive defender. Is he worth it? I'm not seeing it right now, he says. FPL Freddy, it says Lowe seems to be selling Alonso after his 0 at the weekend. The last time he saw 0, he points out he bounced back in a difficult fixture with a brace away to Spurs. Well, that's very true, and that hurt a lot of people. So is it dangerous to take a short-term view, he asks. And Gun Down follows this on. For all the hype over premium wing-backs like Alonso, are they worth it over the cheapest centre-backs of the same team? Tend to be getting more bonus points and are considerably cheaper. Well, he's right. I had a look at it. The top 10 scoring defenders, 7 centre-backs, 3 wing-backs. Davis, Lavra, and Valencia are the only full-backs. The rest are centre-backs, or they're like Azpilicueta, who's can play as a fullback, who's playing in a back 3. That's where they are. So yeah, you've got Valencia's top because of that goal, and then you've got Azpilicueta, Bailly, and Jones, Otamendi. You've got players like this, Lascelles, Higazi. These is because they offer the threat of the set pieces and they're getting the bonus. He's right.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess we're going to see Alonso and Kolasinac, Walker, and well, not Mendy because he's injured, but I think we're going to see the wing backs get on top in the end. Maybe, I don't know. You'd have thought so because Alonso was so far and away ahead last season, and Walker was strong as well last season for a very good spell. Valencia hasn't really got goals in him, though, has he? He somehow doesn't get assists, even though he puts in loads of crosses. So he could be an outlier. And I do think Jones is a far better option there because of that. Otamendi versus Walker, that should be closer, shouldn't it? Do you not think?
I think it's because he's 5'6". I think that's what you've got to look at it. You've got to think, what can you do with that extra million, that extra 0.9? And that means that's upgrading a 4.5 defender to a 5.4 or 5.5. So that's like getting Bertrand in for the next run of 5 or 6 very good fixtures, for example. It's that kind of thing. That's the kind of way you can use that money. So that's what you need to think about it. Otamendi plus a 5 million, 5.5 or a 4.5 defender. So yeah, I think he's got a really good point. Is that the fullbacks have been valued in a certain way and centre backs in a certain way. And it's the centre-backs who are actually scoring more, so better value.
Yeah, I think there was an anticipation that fullbacks, wing-backs will be on top. Monreal, Kolasinac, that's interesting. Monreal was getting forward ball and Kolasinac.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, if I was getting an Arsenal defender now, it would be Monreal. Like, absolutely, because of his price and because of the way he's getting those bonus points. It's absolute gem.
Well, we're tracking the baseline bonus for the first time this year, and he is absolutely blitzing that.
Yeah.
Because he's getting all the defensive points, getting maximum passing, and he's getting forward as well. The other night, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't understand. I mean, Kolasinac's obviously dropping back in, slotting in, and letting Monreal go, and it's working really well. So that one is interesting, and that one could be closer. But you got to think Kolasinac's got goals in him, and Monreal hasn't. So I don't know, Alonso. What do we do with this then? Because you're looking at Azpilicueta. My trouble with Alonso is that, or any expensive defender, is as soon as you get them in, you've got to have willpower, because the people that are selling Alonso now are falling foul of this. There's so much money. They're a bank, aren't they? You buy them in, and you know that if you ever need to upgrade anywhere else, you can downgrade Alonso. You can downgrade to 6.5, or Alonso's even more. He's 7.1. So that's the problem I have in getting an expensive defender in that I know that this season as well, when you've got so much going on in attack, it's too easy to make that move and want to make that move. And these defenders are never going to do it unless they're getting clean sheets every other week, which Chelsea did for a while, didn't they, last season? Then you're always going to be tempted. So I'm not surprised to see the Alonso sales. He was a bit unlucky, though. It's interesting. We wrote an article this week, and had Alonso stayed on for the clean sheet, would he have suffered the sales he's got now? He wouldn't, would he? It's the points, isn't it, that's done it.
No, I mean, it's always. We mentioned Ben Mee earlier. He's been threatening to fall in price for a couple of weeks now, with 2 clean sheets out of 3. It just beggars belief. And I think with Alonso, I think you have to make a commitment. It's like a marriage. If you get Alonso and you're married to him, that's it. There's no Henry VIII decapitation. He's not an Anne Boleyn. You can't just ship him off for the next model. You've got to be committed. However, if I got Azpilicueta in and Cahill, I can easily set them free. I've got no problem guillotining them off.
Yeah, I think with Alonso, you can't, and the thing is, you can't necessarily predict when Alonso is going to get his points. It's not about clean sheets of him. You're expecting goals and assists. Yeah. And you can't look at the fixtures and go, he's going to get goals and assists in that game. You can think you can, but he showed by the Spurs performance, it's very unpredictable when they're going to arrive necessarily, because free kicks are a factor, and that can happen against anyone. So you've got to be patient with him. And clearly, people aren't at the moment, and I can understand it when you look at the investment that's going on up front. Andy, what's your views on Alonso? Do you think we're ever going to go back to him this season? Do you think he's dead to us, or do you think that it's just the way it is right now?
Yeah, I would never say never with a player like that, especially when, like, if we think really long term, then who's going to turn down Alonso for a double game week when Chelsea got 2 great fixtures? Do you know what I mean? He's perfect for something like that. I think he's a tough one, because the comparison that always gets made is he's a 7 million defender. He'll beat a 7 million midfielder. Now, I don't think it's always as clear cut as that, because you've got to take into account who you can and can't get for those positions. But I'll just let you. I mean, he's blanked in 2 games, and yet over the season he's still getting 5 points per game, which is pretty decent return for 7 million. You'd expect him to obviously not keep blanking. I still wonder if they're going to get near the same amount of clean sheets as last year. But if you own him, then the fixtures are about to turn. So if you've already owned him this long through, not awful fixtures, but worse fixtures, I don't know why you'd suddenly get rid. Obviously, it's annoying that he went off, but he's gonna keep playing, isn't he? So sure, if you want to upgrade someone, then you can downgrade to that money. But that's where I look at it, is I can get Ben Davies for 1.3 million less. Davis, whatever his name is.
The whole
all the Wales attacking us.
I did this on the stream once. I took about 10 minutes trying to figure out which one it was, and I still said it wrong every time. Yeah, he's like 1.3 million less. And I think, like, going back to the wing back question, is I think the problem, maybe the mistake a lot of us make, and me included when I bought Norton, is we hear wing back and we think Alonso, but Alonso's a different type of wing back. He's camped in the box. Even Davis, got it right. Who's very attacking, and I would expect attacking returns. I don't expect him to be camped in the box having shots throughout the whole match. He's not that kind of wing back. So I think that's maybe how we've overthought wing backs this year. But yeah, Alonso, I think if you've got him, I'd be tempted to keep. Like I say, 5 points per game, including 2 blanks in those 6 fixtures. It isn't bad. Obviously, he got the brace, but he can do that. So it's not to say that won't happen again. I'd probably keep him, unless you desperately need the money to make an upgrade somewhere else. And like you say, it is always going to be on your back of your mind that he's the one you can make money from. But yeah, I think there's better value out there. But if you've got him, I don't think I'd necessarily be getting rid.
Okay, so Aspie's coming in for you. What are you going to keep Davis as well, John? To you?
Yeah, Davis, Jones.
It's a big spend. It's a big spend.
Aspilicueta or Cahill, and then a Burnley defender, and then another. Possibly, I don't know. I'm going to need to look at the rotation and things like that. I mean, I'd love Wimmer at Stoke to be fit and available and nailed on. Not quite sure yet. 4.4. That looks really tempting. Perfect rotation with Burnley as well. So yeah, looking at that really, and I think so that would be fielding for every week really.
Yeah, because so that means you'll play.
Oh, so I forgot that actually that space there that I was thinking of, that 4.5, it's actually going to be 5, and it's going to be a Southampton defender who I'll field every week until game 12.
So that means you're going to stick with just having the 2 big hitters in midfield then, and keep mid-price.
Yeah, and Richie. Right. I just think, I think the way because the way the pricing is at the moment, there's a lot of defenders I want. There's hardly any midfielders I want, apart from Silva. I do covet Silva. I cannot find a way for Silva to go in without some surgery elsewhere, and without making my defence really quite poor. That's just the way it seems to have worked out with me. So can't get Silva in.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The midfielders, I guess we're saying this because of Hazard and Sanchez not being factors. But it just it looks like there's 3 or 4 that we want. Salah, one of the Spurs, maybe Mkhitaryan, and then maybe Silk, one of the Cities. So that's basically the 4, isn't it, that you're looking at? And there's configurations of that, but that's really about it. There's no chance we would go 4 big hitters, or even 4 big hitters and a 5th mid at the moment, because there's not that talent there producing consistently. Whereas arguably there could be at the back. So it's an interesting setup. I don't know if I'm going to be brave enough to do that. I don't know, because it means, like Andy says, getting rid of a Mkhitaryan and Ali or Salah, and Salah isn't going to go. Ali and Mkhitaryan could be at risk, but they're dangerous players to get rid of, because United are so attacking, and Ali is Ali. You can get a goal any time. That's the trouble. It's difficult. Okay, let's do the game week preview, I guess. Let's do our clean sheets and fancy all of this. Andy, you can go first. Clean sheets.
I got this funny feeling in my head. I just keep thinking, how can Crystal Palace go another game without scoring? But surely that's a Man United clean sheet locked in, especially with Benteke out and Zaha not back yet. The 7 games. I mean, that's just that can't have been done before, surely.
It's mad, isn't it? The other school of thought is, I wonder whether Benteke not being there might mean they'll have to play differently, and that might work suddenly. It could do. It could be sure. Imagine that. Imagine they don't have Benteke and they actually do get the goal at Old Trafford. That would be bizarre, but the script is there.
I can't be honest. I'd love to see Loftus-Cheek line up as a number 9 and come away with a hat trick. I think it'd be
well, someone's got to.
Maybe not this week. Maybe not this week against Man United, but after that.
It's going to be equally unlikely Sacco, isn't it? Who has played that role before, but he's certainly not natural in that role. It's crazy that they're ended up like this, that they haven't got cover. It's like you said, John D, even Brighton have got some cover there. They can play Solly March if they have to, but it's just, I think Izzy Brown's coming in, perhaps not a natural striker, but he can play there. Palace haven't got anybody. Wickham's out, they know this. So why wouldn't they not get? I don't understand it. It's very odd.
Yeah, they got rid of Fraser Campbell.
Yeah.
Which was stupid. Should have kept him.
He's not the answer. Okay, clean sheet United. John T, where are you going?
Oh, I'm good. Speaking of my team, Brighton, Arsenal clean sheet against Brighton. I just think, I think it's just there. Brighton aren't actually a very good attacking side. And it looks like they'll be without Hemed if he gets banned. So, yeah. Arsenal. Yeah,
it's difficult. I mean, Brighton are going to turn up and do what they did at Bournemouth, I guess, and not be interested for 45 minutes, keep it very tight and try and catch one early or late on.
If they get a goal, it'll be a really lucky goal, it'll be a set piece. They'll just have to go there with a big bus. That's their only way. If they come away with that with 0-0, they'll be absolutely delighted.
Okay, well, I'll go. The other obvious one is Spurs at Huddersfield. I think Huddersfield are not great as an attacking force either, and sadly, I don't see them breaking down Spurs' defence. But it's an early kick-off. Spurs have been in Europe. You never know. That might be a factor. They've got players missing, I guess, as well. We certainly expect Eriksen to come back, but maybe not Dembele. So that looks good as well. There's not many others, though. I mean, there's possibilities. West Brom, Watford, Southampton, Stoke, either of those two teams could earn a clean sheet. West Ham, Swansea might not have a lot of goals in it. I don't know. It's difficult. Liverpool, Newcastle, no, that's not going to happen. Everton, Burnley, maybe. I suppose Everton would look at a clean sheet there, but the way they're playing, you can't predict that. So it's difficult. I'll go Spurs. I'll stick with that. My next best will probably be Southampton and Stoke, and I'll probably go Southampton maybe to keep a clean sheet there, because Van Dijk, I think, will start. And I think once he starts, then
I think West Ham's pretty good, like you said, though. Swansea don't look like they got anything in attack, and they did. West Ham did have 2 clean sheets before Spurs, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, and they got Creswell who's an option.
Yeah, just crossing the ball for fun.
But Swansea haven't conceded away from home all season, so that could be 0-0. It's difficult. It's difficult to read it, but I don't know. I think those 3 stand out, don't they, very clearly. Fancy Island risk. I'm going to go first on this. You already know I'm going with, and I am backing West Ham to score because they can't handle Andy Carroll, sadly, and I probably will play Norton, but I still think that Andy Carroll will probably get a goal because he somehow always does. I think it's 11 games against them, and he's got 9 goals in that spell, 3 assists. It's pretty ridiculous. Having said that, Andy, we triple captained him that year, and he did absolutely nothing against them. So
I'm never going near Andy Carroll ever again.
No.
As soon as I saw his stuff on the pitch, I was like, no, don't even talk to me about him. Not happening.
What were the 2 games? It was Swansea and Man United, wasn't it? And I think he got an assist against United and nothing against Swansea.
He only got 1 point, didn't he? Wasn't it three total for the triple captain, or was it 3 and we got 9? I think it was 1 and we got 3. I think he missed one of the games.
Oh,
even thinking about it now, how the hell did we get into a position where we're triple captain and Andy Carroll? That's got to be the worst mistake ever by a fantasy manager.
We should have retired at that point, really. That's never going to happen again. So the most I'm going to give Andy Carroll is my Fancy Island risk. Andy, yours?
Yeah, same game. I'm also playing Norton this week, but I think I'm going to back West Ham to score. So someone's got to cross the ball for Andy Carroll, so I'm going to go on Arnautovic. Against Spurs, he did waste a few chances, so hopefully he can make a better choice there when he gets to the final third. But yeah, he looked all right against Spurs.
He did look good. He did look good. And arguably he's in a better team than he was with Stoke. Perhaps he got a bit more about them. He looked good. He looked very good indeed. He had a chance and he looked lively. It's going to be interesting to see if he emerges. He's in that bracket, Jonty. You don't look impressed, though. He's not a player we're going to look at, is he? But
no.
We'll take a risk on him. Your Fancy Island risk?
Well, I'm going for any more unimpressive player. So I'm going for Shaqiri at Stoke, mainly because I always called him Shakira. So I finally got to call him Shaqiri. But he's in my goals and assists imminent table. He has also scored, and he does have an assist this season. And the stats suggest there's more to come. I don't think Southampton... I think Southampton are good defensively, and they'll be very good with Van Dijk back, but I just think Stoke are better at home, and I think they were decimated by injuries. So it all depends on whether they can get some of their defenders back, so that gives them time to move on and attack. I just think it does indicate that an assist or a goal or both are coming.
He's playing a number 10 role, and he has looked better in that role. But the thing is, Southampton, like Swansea, haven't conceded away from home. They're another team who seem to be better defensively away than they are at home. I don't understand how that.
Yeah, that's why it's a bit of a risk. I just think Stoke. I mean, obviously that Chelsea game I think was a bit different, but they do look much better at home ordinarily, and that is a tough place to go. Yeah,
I think if Van Dijk plays, it's going to be pretty goalless, I think, basically, but we'll see. I mean, it's a dull-looking game. It's a 3 o'clock game, not one I'm going to be watching very closely. But I'll probably have Cedric in that, so I'll be hoping for a dull game. Okay, let's look at captains and transfers now. This is going to be quite interesting. I'm going to go Kane. I don't think I'm going to change it. No, it's too dangerous not to go Kane. So I'm going Kane. Jonty, are you going to differ? Are you going to go Lukaku?
I've got it on Lukaku at the moment, but a lot is going to depend on, obviously, Manchester United. I've got a trip further away and later in the week. And it's difficult to get stuff out of Mourinho's press conferences. But if he starts saying things like players are tired, it's time to mix it up or whatever, you never know whether he's lying or not. But I might wave up. I know Kane will start. And he does a very good record at lunchtimes, and he has a good record away. So, yeah, it's between those two, and I don't think I will decide until I hear some press conferences.
Yeah, I wonder if Mkhitaryan might not start in Europe, and he might start the the weekend. It's difficult. It's difficult. It's interesting to see how Mourinho's going to shuffle it now, because we know he is going to rotate this period, but which one is he going to put the emphasis on? Okay, and Andy, what are you doing with captains?
Well, I stupidly don't have Lukaku, so it kind of defaults to Kane, really. My only other option is Jesus. He came off early tonight, so it looks like he's going to play against Chelsea. But I don't really want to captain in that game. And I just read this out because I read it to you guys earlier. This is Kane's scores from the last 9 away games for club and country. So 4 goals, obviously, not FPL points. 4-3-1-2-0, 2-2-2-3. That's 19 goals in 9 games. That's insane.
Who was the 0 against?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't put. Who was it?
Newcastle. Yeah, probably one of the ones you'd think he's bound to score in that one. Yeah, he's a monster, isn't he? Yeah, and
it kind of defaults for me, like I say. But I think if I had Kane and Lukaku, I'd be tempted to stick it on Lukaku personally.
Oof, right. Yeah, this is it. It's going to be a very interesting week, and it could be. I was saying earlier about for someone for one of us or one of the FFS guys to make a leap. We're going to have a week where you back the right captain and the others dry up. Chelsea have got Man City. It's possible Aguero and Morata could come out empty-handed, and one of Kane and Lukaku is going to deliver big. So this could be the week. I mean, do you see that, Jonty? How do you see the Chelsea Man City going? A lot of investment in Aguero before, a lot of investment in Morata now. Is that going to have goals in it, that game? Or they cancel each other?
Yeah, because Aguero scored 10 in his 15 encounters with him in all competitions. So he likes to score against them at home and away. They've both got tight defences. Man City's defence is very tight at the moment. They've both got great attackers as well. And, it's one of these tricky games. I think there's goals in that. I think often you look at these games and think, oh no, it's too tough to call. I just think you have to put your head above the parapet and say there's going to be goals in this one. And I think Aguero and I think Morata are going to do well. If Aguero is playing, that is, because he might get rotated.
Ooh, don't suggest that. Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know. I think the defences are strong, and I think it depends how early the first goal comes. I think that could easily be a 1-0 either way, but it could also be 3-3 if there's early goals and it opens up. But very tough to call. So I'm sticking with Kane, no doubt. Transfer, I'm not doing one, I don't think, because I want to have the 2 over the break and then have this. I like having the possibility of doing a hit and making 3 changes. I haven't had that yet this season because I haven't been able to. So this is a chance to do it. I'm all right. I can play Cedric, Norton, Jones, and who's my other defender? Oh, Dawson. So that's all right. Dawson's got Watford. Might get a goal. We never know. But, I don't want to play Carroll. No doubt. I don't want to play Carroll. So it's going to be 4 at the back. And I'll save a transfer. Then see what happens. And it might be just a simple Vardy in for Firmino after that. It might be I do some big surgery and one of Ali or Mkhitaryan goes, but I don't know. Is your wild card imminent? Are you going to take a risk before the wild card, Jonty?
Oh yeah, I'm going to use. I'm fairly certain I'm going to wild card. I think I can handle the following international break with a wild card now for this current international break. And so for me, I've got the luxury of a 1 week punt. So I mean, we had someone, Nick J Luff on Twitter, best 1 week punt before a wild card. Well, we've mentioned some fantasy risks here. So yeah, the likes of Arnautovic and Carroll even. These are good. These are players you don't want long term, but give them a go. For me, I'm looking at weak links. I've got Moy as a bit of a weak link. I could field me. I prefer to field a better defender this week. So I think I'll be looking at Nathan Ake to someone. I'm not sure who. Or Moy to someone. I'm not sure who. It's one of those 2.
Well, Trent won't play, so you can't do that one. But
yeah, he's out of the equation.
Can't have it all.
Yeah.
Okay, and Andy, your transfer, what are you going to do? Are you going to bank it as well? Because you're thinking of wildcarding this week, are you?
No, not this week. I'm looking at game week 8, but I mean, I've just realised after this Scoutcast that I can, I can have Jones, Davis, Mkhitaryan, Salah, Ericsson, and then a front 3 of Morata, Kane, and Vardy with only 2 transfers, one this, one next, or both next week. I just don't see why I'm wildcarding. Maybe to change a couple of defenders around, but I don't think playing that chip is worth it. If I was going to play it in game week 8, then I'd probably look at something like Jesus to Lacazette this week, just as a kind of 1 week. I think Lacazette's got the better fixture. But I'm probably going to bank my transfer or do Firmino to Vardy, even though I said earlier I'd keep Firmino. So maybe Firmino to Vardy and then Jesus to Morata next week for the fixtures week. I like Man City's fixtures, but I said earlier in the season, like Man City's rotation is going to be a nightmare, and I've got Jesus in, and it's only taken 2 weeks until I've realised that's still the case. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to wildcard next week. I don't see a real big need to. I'd change some players like Carroll to Loftus-Cheek, but I don't think that warrants a wildcard, really.
Well, I got away with it just with 3 or 4 changes, and it's fine.
It'll be fine, of course, but I'm just thinking down the line, will I need it more?
Yeah, this is the worry, isn't it? And this is when I think 2 seasons ago I played it late, and it never seemed like a good time that came along. So it was a relief last year when I played it early. I think it was because of the Sergio Aguero ban, and that's why I played it early this year. I was like, I don't want to feel like that again. And that is the issue, because you're never going to purposely make your team rubbish.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like when people say, well, your team looks all right, you're going to have more problems than that. Well, I'm not going to plan to have more problems than that. So we don't know that's going to happen. It probably will. It might do. It might not. So it's got to be either for big swinging fixtures or like a Kane injury, or, like 2 or 3 red flags, which might not ever happen. So I don't know. I don't envy you in a way. It's a relief I've got mine out of the way, and I can take hits now and not feel guilty about taking hits. Because that's the other thing. I don't like taking hits when I've got the wild card. So I'm okay with doing it without it, and so I'm happy. I'm up and running with the hits now, or will be soon. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what you do when you play it. Because John T, if you can book it in, you can take the risk this week.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm a little bit like I can't take a good risk. Yeah, I'm looking at, say, a 5.7 midfielder or 5.1 defender. I mean, I tell you what, I think Leicester are going to score, but if I'm looking at a defender who's going to get possibly, is a 1 week one. Charlie Daniels is actually not a bad one, actually. Yeah. But I'm looking at that. Maybe, I don't know, I'd be interested in Manchester United, because I think that's going to be, if I get some inkling that there's a cheaper defender who's going to be playing that weekend, if he says, some real cheap one's going to play, I don't know, Ashley Young or something like that. That could be, that's the player you don't want.
Yeah, he's a midfielder in the game, though, isn't he? Unfortunately, but he is getting
something
crosses
like that.
in.
Yeah.
Charlie Daniels, interesting. Have a look at Leicester's chances conceded on the right-hand side.
Well, that's what I mean. He just with that kind of player, you've got to. It's just that 1 week. Can they get something? What goes against it though is he's a defender, and I just think Leicester are going to score. So
Charlie Daniels, cheap man's Marcus Alonso, coming in for me in a couple of weeks. Absolutely love him. We all love him. Chaz is a favourite of the Scoutcast. Thanks, gentlemen. It's a reduced squad tonight. We still took an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes. We still managed to string it out. It's amazing. We manage it every week now. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for joining us, John T and Andy. And next week we'll be back, perhaps to full strength. It's an international break, isn't it? I don't even know if we're doing it next week.
No, week after we'll be back.
Week after,
fresher.
And
yeah, you can put up. Yeah, you can put up on
Wildcard active. Yeah, but you won't have played it. You'll just be deliberating what to do, won't you?
Yeah. So, I'm gonna have all the lads. I'm gonna have Trent, Ruben, all the gang.
You will have Ruben.
All the magic things.
Look, you laugh about Ruben. If you don't get Ruben, I'll be very surprised.
I will get him. I tell you, you always
got him. He's nailed on for everyone who's got a 4-5 mid, surely, because there's nobody else. Andrew Sermon, no, thank you. It's a good night from me.
Good night from me.
Good night from me.
Good night, all.